Hey, February is the month of love, and today we're asking, can you set high expectations and still be the teacher your students love and trust? Well, spoiler alert, you 100% can, and today we're going to talk about how. We want to know the key to balancing meaningful relationships with rigorous instruction in the math classroom, or really any secondary classroom, to be honest. Hey there, I'm Kristen Moore, your host here in the Modern Math Teacher podcast, and for the past few weeks, we've been talking about keeping it real and relevant, and today we're going to talk about my other favorite R's, keeping it rigorous and grounding it all in relationships. We're going to explore how relationships and rigor go hand in hand and why student centered strategies are going to make all the difference, and leave you with one small action step that you can take to create a classroom culture that thrives. So, if you're up for it, let's dig in and talk about the importance of relationships in math class. You guys have heard me say forever that real, relevant, and rigorous matters, right? But the secret fourth R that underlies it, it's relationships. And here's why relationships matter. Your students are more likely to engage and persevere when they feel supported and seen by you as their teacher. And we know that engagement leads to success in any of their classes. So we know that building trust creates that safe space for your students to take those risks with the challenging material. And in your math class, we want students who feel safe and comfortable engaging in the tasks that you give them. So it's all about building that trust and relationship first. Plus, we know from research that positive teacher student relationships boost academic performance and classroom behavior. That is a win win for everyone involved. They're going to perform higher, which is better for them, and they're going to behave better, which is better for you. So awesome. We all agree now relationships matter, right? Okay, I'm sure we know that. But do you know why that matters in terms of rigor, right? We know rigor, we hear that word. So teaching for rigor can mean teaching with high expectations. Okay, that's one interpretation of us looking at rigor. And these high expectations are most effective when they are paired with genuine care and understanding for the individuals. The relationship that you build with students lets them know that they are safe to take risks and rise to meet those expectations you've set for them. After all, we know that our students rise to the challenge when they know their teacher believes in their abilities. So, having a strong rapport and relationship with your students, showing them that you believe in them, that's going to help them build confidence and believe in themselves. We know relationships are important and that rigor is important. And together, they are really a power couple in the classroom. So, let's talk practically for a minute about how to bring this about in your classroom. And I want to talk to you about three strategies for building those strong relationships. Okay. So, strategy number one is you have to learn about your students. You need to take the time to get to know them, their interests, their aspirations, their strengths, their goals. You can use all sorts of things for this, whether it's a quick daily check in or an interest survey to connect on a personal level, anything you can to get to know about your students. And if you don't have a survey, I have one that I created and shared with like Edutopia and everyone. So I'm going to drop that in the show notes below just in case you need that. Okay. Strategy number two, I want you to celebrate their growth, celebrate the successes with them. We want to focus on progress, not just results. Our students are constantly trying to get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, right? They aren't going to be perfect every time. We aren't going to be perfect every time. So I want you to help highlight those small wins that they're having in class. Even if the student didn't get the right answer, find something positive that you can celebrate with that and a learning moment from it, okay? You're going to be bolstering their self confidence while teaching them still at the same time. And finally, I want you to make sure that you're being consistent and fair. We know our students hate when things are unfair. They are quick to call it out. So set clear expectations and stick with them. This is something I have to remind myself too, you guys. Okay. You're not in this alone. Okay. Your students need to know that you have these set expectations. You're going to hold them to that. So your students feel secure in that classroom environment. That safety and security is what's going to encourage risk taking, and that risk taking is going to lead to results that build confidence, and that is foundational for us. Okay. So, those are your three tips for building strategies with your students. Again, one, learn about them. I don't care what you do to learn about them, just learn about them. Get to know their interests, their strengths, their goals, their aspirations, all of that. Two, celebrate their growth, focus on the progress, not just the results. Okay. And three, make sure that you are consistent and fair in all of your classroom expectations. Now that we've covered quick tips for establishing those relationships, let's move on to 2 strategies for enhancing rigor in your math classroom. Okay. Number one, I want you to challenge your students with meaningful tasks. Okay. Provide your students with opportunities for exploration and problem solving. Whether you are doing the full BTC model, and you've got them up at whiteboards. Maybe you're using Mathematic Explore First, Formalize Later style lessons, or you're using those problem of a day warm ups. I want you to make sure that you find some way to use some open ended problems that are going to encourage critical thinking and have multiple solution pathways so that all of our students can engage with this and find some success with it, right? We know that we're going to be leading them to a specific learning goal and outcome at the end, but we want to make sure that they can all be challenged with that meaningful task and all find some level of success with it, right? Because we're going to be celebrating their growth, even if they don't get to the final right answer or don't do it the same way we do. Okay, so number two, I want you to offer support without lowering the bar. Okay, so you can scaffold challenging concepts. Wow, there we go. Okay. Words are challenging concepts for me today, evidently. We're going to scaffold those challenging concepts and maintain our high expectations. Okay. For example, if you're having your students discuss something, provide sentence starters for them. I agree with you because, I disagree with you because, I believe it's this answer because. That simple little starter can be enough for a student to then feel confident filling something in at the end. Or giving them some sort of like graphic organizer to help them tackle those more complex tasks, right? Some sort of framework that they can say, okay, if I'm looking at it graphically, this is what I'm going to graph with. If I'm looking at just the numbers, these are all my important numbers. If I'm looking at it algebraically, maybe they don't know how to write the algebraic expression. That's okay. And if they're doing it verbally or written, right? That whole GNAV, the four modalities, right? Something so simple and structured can help you offer support for the students so that they can engage in that task without lowering the bar. Okay, so you can implement these also low floor, high ceiling tasks to allow students of all levels to feel success and challenge. All right. So I know by now you've got to be on board with building relationships, right? Having those good, strong relationships in our class and seeing that rigor and relationships can be a match made in heaven. You can't have one without the other. So I want you to try this relationship and rigor strategy this week. Okay, super simple. I want you to implement High Five Fridays or 2-minute talks. Okay, super simple. Spend 2 minutes with each student asking about their day, their goals, or their challenges. Just 2 minutes. Maybe you don't hit every student every day. Maybe you get 10 done in a week. 2 minutes. Learn a little something about them. Build rapport and show students they matter as an individual. Then, once you've started doing that, follow it up by assigning a challenging task. Let your students know that you believe that they can do it. By doing it in that order, you've one established this good relationship, and now your students are feeling more positive and energized. And now they're going to go ahead and engage with that more challenging task. So start your day with a quick relationship builder and then move into that challenging task. Again, High Five Fridays or like high fives on the way in, 2-minute talks, 30-second talks, whatever it is that you can get in, just talk to them. Okay. All right, bonus tip. You can pair some group problem solving with intentional community building activities, right? So you could start class with a quick teamwork game before diving into a collaborative math task. Again, you're working on relationships before the rigor. All right, so let's wrap this up with a quick recap from this week's episode. 1, strong relationships create the foundation for rigorous instruction. Done, period, end of sentence. It is not either or, my friends. You don't have to choose between caring about your students and having high expectations. They work best together. And even small actions can lead to big impacts. So, quick check ins or growth celebrations can transform your classroom culture. Now, let's boost our engagement in our classrooms with lessons that balance the rigor and the relationships. If you want more ideas to simplify your lesson planning and create a thriving classroom culture, check out the resources in my membership. It's designed to help you focus on what matters most. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to share it with a colleague or leave a quick review. Your feedback helps me keep it real for you. So I'm talking about the topics you are most interested in. All right, you guys, that's it for this week's episode. Keep connecting with your students, keep challenging them to grow, and as always, keep it real.